The final implication here is I think that cold calling becomes much less kind of spray and pray. What we've seen over the last few years with the proliferation of tools like Aurum and Salesfinity, Connect and Sell to a certain degree as well, is that cold calling strategy was really just kind of volume based, right? If you just put enough of your ICP prospects into these dialers and you spend enough time on the dialer, you were going to get into enough conversations to kind of hit pipeline targets, right? Because you were going to get enough live connects and you were going to be able to kind of using the math or the numbers, right? Just get through kind of like brute force your way to the outcomes you're after. I think that's going to be much less possible in this new future state. And so cold calling is going to become a much more kind of like targeted piece of the outbound motion, right? It's going to become much more a precision weapon and much less kind of a volume play. The reason for that is that if you want to be able to get patched through these kind of, digital gatekeepers, so to speak, you're going to have to be able to articulate in 5 to 10 seconds exactly why this person should want to speak to you. And it's very difficult to do that if your response to those questions is the same to all, 5,000 prospects that you're trying to reach. If you have a specific individualized reason for why you're reaching out to this particular person, then I think your chances of a connect go way up, right? For example, right, if you're getting screened by let's call it the Apple gatekeeper, they say, state your name and the reason why you've called, and I'll try to connect you. If your response is, hey, I spoke to John and Susie. They told me that LinkedIn Outbound was becoming a bigger part of your go-to-market process. Wanted to share some insights around what we're seeing work on this channel at the moment. Right now, if you actually have that insight from John and Susie and you're calling their boss, chances are, or at least the likelihood of you getting connected are much better, right? Than if you simply called a random person and said, hey, we help organizations to improve their LinkedIn outbound approach. Wanted to share some information with you on that. So I think the cold call or the phone becomes a much more kind of like precise targeted weapon than it does a kind of spray and pray kind of tool in the way that most organizations are going to be using it today.